Hey, Magic Makers. I'm Mom Virella.
I'm Yukita Cosplay.
And I'm TJ Peterson. Welcome to Magic Making Mischief. Today we have a special guest Jay Gillespie. Before we get to him, get your wands to the ready because we solemnly swear we're up to no good. So today we have a special artist guest, Jay Gillespie with Dimension Comics. Welcome, kind sir.
Thank you for having me.
Applause and sun.
We have all of his vital information going across the bottom of the screen for those who are watching here on YouTube. Make sure to pay special attention across the bottom. So, Jay, for those who don't know about you, please share.
I'm sorry, say that again?
For those who don't know about you, please share about yourself.
Introduce yourself.
Yes, comic artist and writer for Severed Souls. Started working on the book back in 2016 and formed Dimension Comics in 2018 and got busy starting Comic Cons in 2017 and found it was a really great way to sell books. And I could show some fan art of some of the fun stuff I like to work on and some commissions. And that would be a great segue whenever anyone was interested in the art to then talk about the books. And I was like, hey, this is really working. And so here I am, 2024, and hitting about 1 or 2 cons a month and trying to branch out of the more regional shows and go to more shows out of state. So just having fun, just doing it.
The Art of the Ride says awesome artists on last year in Conroe, Texas. Doing 1 to 2 cons a year is difficult. The con hangover is a real thing. I don't know how you do it. That's a lot.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it is a lot, but I don't know. I'm really inspired and I get excited every time there's a new one. So I don't know, nothing can seem to hold me back. So I just really enjoy it.
Awesome.
Too much fun.
Well,
Trivia says, hey, y'all. Hey.
well, we have seen you at multiple ones, and I've gotten a few things that I've picked up from whenever we've met you. Actually, I'm going to do yours first. This is the last one I got, and I have eyed this forever. It is the Gotham Sirens right there. You've got Harley Quinn, Catwoman, and Poison Ivy. And I love that she's got roller skates. Harley Quinn's got roller skates on in this piece, but it's such an awesome little it's one of his art pieces he's done. And if you look right there, like even the detail right there on Harley's leg, can you see that? There is a little Joker.
Is that a little bit?
Oh, cute.
It's like a little dagger with Joker on top, right?
Yeah, the hilt is the Joker.
Yeah, I love that. Like it's the details right there that get me. I love that.
Arcade Wind says hi. So how long have you been doing art?
Well, I mean, I've been drawing since I was a kid, but I guess everything that you guys see when you're at the show, it's really all within the last 8 years. And I'm always updating with new art. And so some of the stuff from when I first started is not usually as much on display. What Amirello was just showing is actually from, I think, 2017 or 18. It's been updated a little bit since then. But yeah, I mean, I went to the Art Institute of Houston, and I also got into commercial art and graphic design. So I kind of do that as a regular job. So art and being creative and visual communications, as they call it. I've just been involved with that like my whole life. That's what I do.
So is art something you've always done? You've always been drawn to art? Ha!
Yeah.
What a fun.
Ay. So it's gonna be like that. All right. Well, yeah. So I had 3 older sisters growing up, and all of them, each one went to the High School for Performing and Visual Arts. So I had them all as an example growing up, and I just stopped drawing myself. And of course, my dad was like, "No, you need to be an engineer." I was like,
You do things.
Exactly. I was like, no, I think I really want to do the art thing, Dad. And he's like, oh. But
another artist.
It ended up going pretty well, and then once things lined up, then he was like, "I'm proud of you, son." And I'm like, "Okay, thanks, Dad." So it all worked.
He could. Yes, says he hates himself for laughing at that joke.
I got another one here. I got to show this one off. This was the commission that we had done of Vampirella at Pop Culture Power Show. I think it's going to be Pop Culture
that's what it
something.
was.
It's usually, but yeah, I love this one because this is what started. This is what started the vampire art collection that we've got. My lights are reflecting off of it, but it's got just like this pop of red color and just a touch of color to it.
Yeah.
But it's mostly like hand sketched and everything. And so that started our vampire art collection right there. And now we have like a
Definitely
wall.
thought
of
that was
ones
you
that
for
I'll
a
try to, like,
second.
imagine it. That's what my husband said. He's like, it looks kind of like she looks kind of like you, and I'm like, well, maybe like I was inspired with my style for that, or he was. I don't know. It's somewhere in
I was
there.
like, that's Mombi as a vampy.
Vampirella, Mombirella, you know.
It all kind of like intertwines. It's fine.
Cards like number 3.
MK3.
So
This is
Fun, and it was drawn entirely at the show while I was there. And
it was awesome. I loved it because I got to see like
Wow.
the process for it while we were there, and yeah, that was a good one. That was a good one. He started it the first day, and I came and picked it up the second day from that one. I was so excited. My husband's like, "What's it look like?" He always has me go pick up the art. He's like, "What's it look like?" I'm like, "You're gonna love it." Why do I have to be the designer?
when did you start Dimension? Because starting your own company is something that's a little bit different than, kind of doing your own thing and doing Comic Cons themselves.
that's true. Well, I started it in about 2018. Is after I got into the books, and I was batting around a lot of different, ideas for a name. But one of my characters, she's a very powerful psychic that, sometimes psychics will talk to beings on the other side, connect with those who have moved on. And she can do that, but I took it one step farther and made it so that she actually opens doors to other dimensions. And so then I was like, well, what if I call it Dimension Comics? And one of the things I wanted to do was secure it with like a trademark or something. And I thought, there's no way that Dimension Comics would be available. But when I looked, it was not secured yet. And you don't really know the status of it until you apply. So when I did, there were several companies that were already in line to try to get that. And it took about 4 years, but then it finally went through, actually. And I got a trademark for Dimension Comics. I couldn't believe it. I was even told by a few people, you should just quit, give up on that, try a different name. And I was like, no, I mean, if there's the smallest tiny little chance that someone will drop their claim on Dimension Comics, then I want to try to get it. And sure enough, it worked out. I had a business before that called Digital Canvas. And that was when I was independent and in graphic design, commercial illustration, any kind of work that I could find in the graphic design field. So I had a lot of business knowledge, and my sister's a paralegal in the intellectual property legal field. So she helped me and assisted me and to get that trademark. And I do business as Digital Canvas. So really everything that I do, it goes back into the effort for Dimension Comics. Everything I earn, it goes back into the company, and I don't take anything personally. So I have a job that I do to pay the bills and take care of my kiddos and stuff like that. And so all of the revenue goes into, and mostly it all goes to printing. Let's just be honest. Printing is very expensive. Yes. And all the table fees to get into shows and things like that. So, yeah. So the business side is already all set up, and then I got lucky on the trademark. Just been going from there.
Very cool. Nice. Works hard says my hair color is very pretty. Thank you. Works hard. Appreciate that. So
this is actually one of the Dimensions comic published ones that we picked up. I had forgotten that we had gotten this one from y'all. This was actually a exclusive preview edition, so it's actually fairly short, but it's got some of the other ones, including Severed Souls on the back there too. So,
well, speaking of Severed Souls, that's a series that you do, correct?
Yes, ma'am. Yeah.
And you mentioned before the show that issue 12 either is just coming out or has come out.
just got completed at the printer.
That
So
looks cool.
very excited about it. I've already had a couple sales from folks online. I've been for a long time, I've been selling 11 issues, telling them issue 12 is on the way. And I was like, just follow my social media. So when it comes out, I'll announce it, and then just reach out with a direct message or an email, and or go to the website and pick it up there, and then I'll send it right out to you. And sure enough, there's been a couple orders already. So it's like, oh, it's kind of exciting.
So for those
Add that to the
who aren't
comic box.
really familiar with it, can you explain what the Severed Soul series is?
Oh, yes, absolutely. Don't get me going. It's my favorite topic. So basically, supernatural gifts, it's an explanation for supernatural gifts by the age of a person's soul. So the more lives that they've lived in the past, the more powerful the gifts they have in the modern day story. So it's kind of like the X-Men who have a mutant gene, only I wanted to do something that was really different, not like it was alien blood or, a lightning bolt or what do they call it, a radioactive spider, or all this stuff had already been thought of. I was like, what can I do that's different? And I kind of was iffy about the idea of reincarnated souls amplifying a person's abilities to the point that they have supernatural gifts until I was iffy about it. And then I realized, wait a minute, if they lived many times in the past, then they could intersect with history or mythology and folklore, and they could be the explanation for historical mysteries in the past, because they could have powers then as well. And so then it was like, wait a minute. So I could flash back to like the Oracle at Delphi, who could predict, what's going to happen next, or pyramid building, or the Aztec, or any number of things. And the one this side, this character right here, everything's backwards. Tyria, she's actually the explanation for vampire lore in the Middle Ages. She and several others were siphoning souls in medieval Europe, and that gave rise to the lore that there were bloodsuckers. But actually what they were finding is the bodies were emaciated because they had their souls siphoned, so they thought it was blood sucking. So in my universe, it's a little different twist on vampirism. But whether you're drinking their blood or you're siphoning their soul, pretty much the result is the same. So it's just my twist on that. And so there's a lot of neat little tie-ins. And those tie-ins, though, I wanted to make sure that they didn't wander off the main story too much. So I made sure that they tie into the main story and that they will have an impact on where the story goes at the conclusion. And that's really what drove it to be a 12-issue series, because there's so many things that are explored that eventually all tie in together. Otherwise, maybe it could have been a 4 or 6 issue series. But I'm a kind of a history nerd, and I just kept coming up with more and more ideas. And
so are these graphic novels or are these actual comic books? Geek like Highlander, because these sound like they could be like graphic novels versus just comic books themselves.
Yeah, it's interesting that you say that, because that's what I wanted to do initially, was a graphic novel that was about 100 pages long.
Love those. Love graphic novels.
Yeah, they're awesome. Now that all 12 issues are complete, I can put it all together now, and it'll be about a 380 roughly page graphic novel, or a trade paperback as they call it. So I'm investigating the printing on that now, because that won't be cheap. But it'll be a perfect bound paperback, or I could explore hardcover. But initially, I just wanted to do like 100 pages and make it just one book that's a graphic novel and not release issues.
Could you like a trilogy?
I have, I don't have them here right with me, but I have the first 4 books as volume 1, and the second set of 4 books as volume 2. Those are both printed, and I have them. And then now that issue 12 is done, I can put the last 4 books together and make it volume 3. And then put them all together.
Volumes. When are those coming out?
I have them, so if you would like some volumes, I can get you some volumes. It's no problem.
So where do we find these volumes?
They're on the website, dimension-comics.com.
Okay.
And if my memory serves, they are definitely on there.
Okay, cool.
But we would
Nice.
love to read them though, for sure. Like they
So
sound
Definitely.
awesome.
if you were at a Comic-Con, can we get them there? Or do we
Absolutely.
have to?
That's my main reason for, the indie comics avenue is a tough one, but I've found that the absolute best way, besides crowdfunding, there's guys who do Kickstarter and they do excellent, very well with that. I started with Patreon, and then I went to Comic Cons, and I do so well. I enjoy talking to people about it and sharing the concept one-on-one with folks that come up to the table. It's just a much better way of doing it for me. So I sell most of my books at Comic Cons. I will always have the books at a Comic Con for sure.
So do you have a list on your website of the upcoming Comic Cons that you're going to be at?
Do I have a list? Actually, yes, I do. And the next one is going to be in San Antonio for superhero. I think it's Superhero Comic Con and Car Show or something, I think is what they call it. It's at the Freeman Expo Halls, June 20th through the 23rd. And then after that is the Greater Austin Comic Con. And the organizers would asked if I would do a Weird Al Yankovic artwork for the show, since he'll be the featured
Is
guest.
she gonna be good? Oh, that's awesome.
That's my project coming up here very soon.
Cool.
I don't know yet, but I might be going to San Diego, but mostly to hang out with some comic friends that are there. I doubt that I'll be exhibiting. But I just want to go and be there for that event. And then let's see, after that is Bell County Comic Con.
Mm-hmm.
There's a little issue with me securing the table, so I'm not 100% sure I'm going to be there for that. Colorado Springs, I've reached out to them like 3 times, so we'll see. For sure will be Bedrock City Comic Con. That's going to be in Houston.
Mm-hmm.
And then Big Texas Comic Con back in San Antonio again. And then Space Con San Antonio after that. So
Nice.
a lot of Texas shows. There's also the possibility of Baltimore and maybe New York, but we'll see.
Awesome.
Very cool.
Do you have them listed on your website or anything?
No, I have a little spreadsheet here, so I can keep track of
Okay.
it.
So you just announce them as they're coming up closer, usually on your. Okay.
You're reminding me though, because sometimes I put out a post that says, "Here's the upcoming events." I let everybody know, and I haven't done it. I'm due to do that now that Comic Palooza is over.
Yes.
I need to announce what's up next. So thank you. That's a good reminder.
Nice little reminder.
One of those things. Yeah.
People like to try to find you.
Yeah.
So if somebody gets your book online and they see you at a Comic-Con, can they take it to get it autographed then?
Oh, absolutely. That I usually will sign the book and send it out.
Oh, that's awesome.
Now, it depends though. Sometimes if it's more of a collector item, then someone wants a witness of it being signed. So if you want to get a signed one by me, probably at the show is the best way to do it.
Honestly, I'm one of those people who prefers to get it from somebody in person, because I've had someone before. They're like, "Well, you can order a commission from me and I'll send it to you." I'm like, "Oh, that's no fun." There's something about getting there, and then I like to be surprised, so it's I want to see it. But I did actually get to see you work on this one, but I didn't specifically. My husband requested it originally, so I didn't consider that a not, one of those ones where I had to be surprised. I was just curious. So I kept
I like a little note from the author or something in the thing, not just an autograph, like a little hey.
Yeah, some folks request a remark, so like a little sketch to go along with the signature on the book.
Nice.
Being an author myself, I get it, but it's kind of sometimes it's just kind of like a little nice personal hey, enjoy it, whatever.
Yeah, absolutely.
You get a hand cramp after a while, so I get it.
Well, what's hard at a show is if I'm back there by myself and there's actually a lot of business, a lot of things going on, then I can't really stop and draw. But if I'm there with Johnny or someone else is there to help, then I don't have to keep talking to so many people, and I can work on commissions.
If it's not too busy. Yeah, I've seen you do a little bit of sketching sometimes. I even caught you doing some at Comic Palooza the other day when we were out there a couple weekends ago. I don't guess you had much time to do it though at that one. That one's a big one.
Well, Johnny was there, and he could just, hey, you! If someone wanted so then I would stand up and talk to folks. But yeah, like I say, if someone's there, I can work on something. And I was able to do 2 sketch covers while I was there, and sold one.
Nice. Oh, that's awesome.
It wasn't as lucrative on the original art sales as I thought, because Comic Palooza is usually pretty good for that, and there were just a few this time. So.
Did you say you do the writing and the drawing as well? You do the art and the writing? That kind of is fascinating to me.
Nice.
Yeah,
I don't
it's actually kind of unique. I found a lot of people
like the stick figures, but the fact that you came up with both of them is just brilliant.
Well, I never considered myself to be a writer, but I just have these ideas, and the more the ideas came in, the more I could see like, ooh, and I could tie this in, and then I just got so excited about writing it. And one of the things I didn't really expect is that as I was drawing the books, so in sequential art, you're visually telling the story. So you kind of have to write it like, this is what's happening in these scenes, and then the dialogue is happening at the same time. And you don't want to over-explain anything or try to narrate too much for the audience. You want to let the visuals tell as much story as you possibly can, and then give it the dialogue to help push the story along. And as I was doing that, I was like, oh my God, I just really love this kind of storytelling. So the writing part of it was just something that I was like committed to doing and excited about doing. And I found that almost more than the art, I really enjoyed the storytelling. So I just got into it. So it's a lot of fun.
It flowed naturally. That's awesome. So I have a question about Dimension Comics. So do you have people that can apply if they have a comic book they're working on that want to have it published? Is that something that y'all do?
Consider. I've looked at several guys who've had ideas and submitted ideas, and I'm open to that, but I caution everyone that I don't have major distribution. It's very homegrown, and most of my distribution is done through Comic-Cons. I'm getting warmed up to start doing Kickstarters and get into that more, because a lot of the guys I know who are doing this, they're just like knocking me on the head, like, dude, why are you not doing Kickstarter? I'm like, So I'm getting into that. But as far as if someone expects, like by publishing through here, that they're going to be now widely distributed, I just make sure that they know this is really grassroots right now. And in the future, COVID kind of threw that off too, because there was a path, to get distributed. And now it's, I'm kind of waiting for that to calm down a little bit, and see what the best route for distribution is. So, I mean, as long as they know that, then yeah, send me your ideas and, let's see what we can do. For sure.
That's awesome.
And by the way, for me, it's not a question of, hey, I want, I've talked to several publishers that wanted to move forward. One of them actually wanted to take the books and start animating them and publishing that way. It was pretty interesting. I was like,
that's cool.
But when they send you the contract, they want 100% rights to what you're working on. And I'm like, I'm not going to do, not 100% right. So I had to pass on that. But if anybody does want to publish through Dimension Comics, I don't do that. It's your IP. There's just kind of an agreement that, like, say you have a fantastic idea and there's a Netflix or a movie studio that says we want to option your series for TV, then there's a little kickback to Dimension Comics for discovering you and putting you out there and publicizing you. But then after that, it's all yours. You own it, and best of luck.
It's your intellectual property. I know there was an author one time. She wrote the Vampire Diaries books, and she had one of those things where she was published through a company, and they took the rights to her stories, and continued to use her name for a while as well, and like
Really?
that went crazy because they made the
Shady.
series and everything. But like, yeah, she lost everything from that because of the contract she signed.
I hate hearing that. I hate it.
Yeah, it broke my heart to hear that. I was like, man, I love the series too, and I'm just like, that makes me sad. I didn't realize that it did that, but, so that's awesome that you do it that way, because intellectual property, that's like a big key word, but like seriously though, I hate the idea of losing something like that.
Yeah,
So that's why I want to trademark some of my stuff.
very,
Trademark some.
Yeah,
Gotta do
it's
more than
very
some.
careful when it comes to your intellectual property. I'm very possessive of it, but
Yeah.
well, it's a brilliant idea. I'm actually excited to try to get my hands on some of those books.
Oh,
Yeah.
Into like
Some of those volumes. Just find me at the next show, and I'll hand you a couple.
See, I am a sucker
yay.
for doing comic book cosplays. Like Cassie Hack is one of my favorite ones that I've done, and I use her for the horror film fests. And I keep staring at your banner, and I'm like,
Now I was just saying, I'm about to zoom in on this real quick.
Here you go.
I'm like,
Here you
is this
go.
another comic book character that I could cosplay? I'm into it.
She's the one that was behind the vampirism in the Middle Ages.
Of course.
That's awesome.
Trying to find. I have her here in the book too. That a friend of mine was saying, "Wow, she looks really pretty in the book." I cannot find it.
I've never seen you in Fangs yet, Yukita.
Yet.
Oh,
Kind of already had
so-
them built in.
We have about 4 minutes, a little less than 4 minutes left. Ooh, I want to see this stuff. So I wanted to ask you.
Oh,
I
she
don't know the
cute?
question. Oh, so cute.
Oh, she's cute.
She
Oh.
told
No.
around.
Do you have any advice for anyone who wants to do comics, who wants to start doing them?
I was given advice. I think it was 20 years ago, maybe talking to John Romita Jr. And I asked him that, and he just kind of looked at me and he goes, "If you want to make comics, make comics." I was like, "Okay, there we go." And so you got to have a real passion for this because it's a labor of love, and you're not going to run into oceans of money super quick. And so it's going to be really your drive and your motivation and your passion. And if you want it, nobody's going to stop you. I haven't encountered anything in the industry saying there's a roadblock, you cannot go this way. Like, no,
you shall not pass.
Right. And a lot of people who are in the comic industry now, they all come in different ways. There's not like a one pathway into comics. You got to follow these rules. No. For writers, the big challenge is trying to find an artist to draw your book for you. For me, I didn't have that issue. It's a little bit of an advantage because I could draw it and write it myself, and I could sell fan art at shows, which helps to fund me. So more advice would be for people like, well, what do I do under these circumstances? I don't draw myself, so what do I do? It's a little tougher that way, but for that, crowdfunding is probably your number one way. But I would say, man, I talk to people at Comic Cons all the time. They're like, wow, man, you really inspired me to think about doing this again. And hey, man, if you want to do it, absolutely do it. There's no reason to worry or hesitate. Just go for it, man. If this is what you want to do.
Just do it.
Just do it.
Well, thank you so much, Dang. We appreciate your time. We appreciate
Yes, it's been a pleasure.
Really, really cool. Stay tuned, guys, for next week for Ryan and Ruby Aguilera, and we're going to be talking about going to Comic-Cons on a budget. I'm super excited to see what kind of advice that they had come up with. Mommy, you need to take us out.
Thank you so much, guys, for watching, and thank you for joining us again. If y'all haven't had a chance yet, make sure to hit that thumbs up and subscribe on the YouTube. Me and CJ have our channels up. We also have it on Facebook, whichever one you're watching on. Make sure to check out the others, and Yukita Cosplay on Instagrams.
Yeah.
Till next time, guys. Till next time. Till next time, guys. Thanks for watching. Love y'all. Mischief managed. Bye.
Thanks, guys.